Here he is with his awesome story.
I wasn't planning for this, but I guess it's important that because there's so much going on in the world, we all feel the need for more prayer and more sacrifice because of what's happening, not just to humanity themselves. We've got a situation in Standing Rock, South Dakota, where they're standing up for the water. They say they will defend the sacred, which is our beautiful Maniwichoni, water of life. And they're having a lot of problems up there. Those of you that have been watching it on internet or even TV, they're boycotting, they're protesting CNN and a lot of television stations to cover the story. And now the story has reached international status. They're getting support from all over the world, but they're on the front lines, and it's the youth that are standing on the front lines, and they're the ones that are getting arrested. They're even reporters that are reporting the story, they're getting arrested, their cameras taken away as evidence because they're standing up to protect sacred sites as well. There's burial grounds there that are being desecrated. They're digging into them, and they're not letting the tribal members whose land it is, they're not even allowing them onto the land to go and protect their own ancestry. And so by treaty, they do have the right to the land. They have also a lot of civil liberties that are being violated. They got a lot of Native American treaty rights violated. They've got what they call indigenous rights that are being violated. And they've been asking for my brother and I to go up. And but we've also been following it for my son, Journey Zephyr. Mani Waji, those of you that have been following him on the internet or on Facebook, he's head of a group called Earth Guardians, and they're all youth from all over the world. He has been wanting to go up there to support him, and they got in contact with Mark Ruffalo, the actor, who's in the movies, he's the Hulk. So they got Hulk on their side, and go in there and smash somebody. Clobbering time. But, also, Reverend Jesse Jackson has been there in support. A few other celebrities have been there. Leonardo DiCaprio has offered to pay for all of the Earth Guardians from all over the world to gather together, to drive up there and stand behind the people that are there fighting. There's over 200 tribes represented there. They've got a camp that's set up with over 2,000 people in it. There's a second camp that started, which was in two separate areas close by the burial sites, and the other one is close by the area where the bulldozers are digging. But in all this time that they're protesting, trying to stop it, the bulldozers, they still keep working day and night, 24/7. And they're not only just going to cross the river, the Missouri River, they're going to go into it, and they're going to go downstream for about a month. They're going to stay at the bottom of the river, and they know that this pipeline is going to break at some point, and all of the water that's going to, if that river, this Missouri River, and that's upstream from us, 150 miles from where we are, or 250 miles from where we are. And another tribe, the Crow Creek, the Hunkpati, they're 150 miles down from them. The Cheyenne River are very close to them. And all of the ranchers, farmers, and it's the biggest aquifer in the United States of America. And if that oil spills, it's going to contaminate so much of the drinking water, the life blood of not just humanity, but all of animal life. You won't be able to eat the animals. And they've had oil spills in Montana. They've come down to our reservation. The indigenous nations from Canada came and met. We've had celebrities come to our reservation. Ranchers and farmers from Nebraska have come up and they've met. And they were the ones that called the meeting because they knew that pipeline was coming. It's called the Black Snake, and how the spirits describe it. And they know that it's inevitable. It will happen. And it's going to affect more than 17 million people downstream. And if that aquifer gets polluted and it becomes toxic, now you won't just be able to eat the animals, but the animals won't be able to eat the grasses, the cattle, the deer, the buffalo, anything that eats that, the birds. You won't be able to hunt the birds. You'll have to go way upstream like they do in Canada. They have to go 150 miles upstream to fish. So this is more serious than some people are thinking. They think it's all just the Indians are protesting and why don't they just let it happen? Because we've been getting hold of a lot of people have been getting hold of the Obama administration, calling every day. But because we need help from the outside, those of us that are working to bring in help to everybody there that's on the front lines fighting against this big corporation. And what's really odd is that not just the city police and the county police and the highway patrol, but the National Guard is there for everybody that's been watching this. The National Guard, so it's the United States government that's also involved. And they're supporting this corporation who's, some of them aren't even American citizens. Some of the heads of what they call the board of directors. And it's going to affect so many people, and they're more or less thinking that it's an Indian uprising, but it's not. It's a very, I would say, civil and very quiet and peaceful protest. It's a prayerful one. And they need help. So we would like everybody to keep them in your prayers, keep them in your heart. Always put something out there. And it's, we've been following it every day. From the moment that I wake up, and I haven't been on internet for almost, a little over 20 months. I got on internet and I started reading it every day, and my nephews are there. I got a lot of relatives there, some of my family from home, everybody caravan from all the tribes. We got people from other nations there supporting this, because if the United States does this to their own people, they won't care about anybody else. So they've got a lot of support, and Leonardo DiCaprio has made a pledge to pay for everybody, all of the Earth Guardians tickets, plane tickets to caravan up there, and they were going to go with their own film crew. And since my son is the United Nations Peace Ambassador for the 7th generation, he organized his group to go up there and stand with them to protect the environment, to protect the sacred, to defend what is our ancestry. It's a terrible thing because everybody's unarmed, they're in prayer, The grandmothers are getting knocked to the ground, getting arrested. The children are being shot at. There's one little youth that did get shot. And if you've seen the pictures, they're all standing with guns, rifles, automatic weapons. The military is in there with their armed vehicles. The county police and these police are coming from other states as well. Montana, Iowa, Minnesota, Nebraska, they're all converging on the Standing Rock fight against the sacred, their rights. So we got a hold of the United Nations people. My son and I, we started coordinating, and we got one United Nations representative in there, and he went incognito, because if they knew he was there, they would stop him at the roadblocks and just allow him to go in there. So he went in kind of undercover. He stayed in there to assess all of the violations against all of the protesters. They're calling them protesters, but they are defendants of the sacred. So the media has really kind of been twisting the story. And now, before we left Wisconsin to come down here, we got news that the United Nations, the general assessor, or he was going as official, in his official capacity, he was taking his own entourage, and the Standing Rock chairman had gone to Geneva, Switzerland, to state his case at the United Nations Assembly. And they heard him. They sent their representative there, and he went in there with his whole film crew, his whole entourage of support. They were gonna, all his attorneys, they went in there to see what is happening. And at this time, all of this has been in my mind to a point where I dream about it. So on the way here, we've been traveling for days across country, and we made it to it was Colorado, and that night I couldn't sleep. I dream after dream after dream, and to this day, for the last couple of weeks, I get about 2 hours of sleep, if that, every night, and I've gone as much as 7 days without sleep, and worrying. I see what they're doing. They're shooting live rounds at the children that are riding horses. The horses are getting shot. They have the drones flying around, filming, recording everything going on, and they're putting out live feed. And they didn't realize that so many people also had cameras on their phones and they're recording things, but now they have, and for one day, they were jamming everybody's live feeds from their phones and computers, because the police officers on the front line, they carry a jamming device on their belt, but they only work if you get close enough to somebody who has a camera or a film or a recorder of some sort. And so they're using those, and so for a while we weren't getting anything, so everybody was on edge. And then all the reports come, and they had raided this camp, and they were in ceremony, they were in sweat lodge, and they're knocking down all the teepees. They knocked the teepee down, the sweat lodges, and they were pulling people out of there, and they were arresting them, taking them in. So there's a lot of violations going on up there, and now they're not just putting them in jail, but they're putting them in dog kennels. they're putting them in dog kennels and they're coming back and they're not even taking their names. Everybody comes back with a number written on their forearms. So it's like the Holocaust, you know, it's gotten really serious up there. And they arrested, last we heard before we left, 145 people out of that camp. A lot of grandmothers, because the grandmothers are standing in their power with their prayers, and the young people are protecting them, but they're still taking them. So there's a lot to pray about, because there's so many Americans. You know, it's Americans. It's just not an Indian issue. It's an American issue. And we hope that, you know, what we learn here today, you know, we can take this to heart, use it. Because when you leave here, you're going to say, oh, that was a good conference. I really learned a lot. And then from here, you go out, you apply it, you go to work, you use it. This 1111 book has all the symbols in it. Use them. Draw them in the earth. Circle them. Activate them. Put a pinch of tobacco there. Make it work. Some of that will influence the entire planet. That's what we do when we dance in the sun dance. We create on the other side of the planet, because the power just doesn't go up, but it goes straight down through the mother's heart, comes out the other side and creates a crop circle. So we work with circles within circles, within circles, within circles, within circles, within circles, within circles, in light and love. So I just want to say that much. And now my son is worried. This one last little item is that now that Trump has won the election, my dream was that there was a lot of people that were going to commit suicide. And I didn't know them, but they were all thinking about it. And so on the way down here, the phone rang, and it was my son in Hawaii. He said, all the young people here are scared and worried. He said, everybody wants to commit suicide. You know, so it's more serious than we think. You know, it's building up. You know, item after item after item, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. So our prayers aren't just for Mother Earth, but our young people too are feeling it. We need to help them with guidance and a lot of other things, but there's also spiritual element involved, which what we call wanagis, or ghosts that wander and persuade people to do those kinds of things, and they attack you at your lowest point, your most vulnerable time in your life. So a lot of prayers to be made, and I want to make that request to everybody. When you lay down to sleep tonight, you're going to get some healing here. You know, you're going to get a sound healing, and if you have ailments or anything, we are the teachers and the healers in this room. We're the guides. We're the ones that are going to go out and share what we've learned. So if you have ailments, be welcome to come up, because it works. This works. I've experienced it myself, and tonight I'll do it again, because I have holes all over me. I got to fill them up. So I hope. Mitako asi.